Welcome, beautiful soul, to the Lotus path of self-mastery, understanding your awakening and returning to yourself. Who is Athena? Blessings, my name is Athena, and I am your guide inside of the Lotus Moon Sanctuary. I am so grateful that you are here and that you have chosen to spend time with me. We are going to walk through the inner world that you have been navigating. The emotions, the confusion, the heaviness, the awakening, and the longing for clarity, the desire to feel like yourself once again. We will talk about the deeper understanding behind the emotional overwhelm, the spiritual awakening, the identity shifts, and the path of self-mastery. You will learn the core principles that help you rise out of confusion and into your clarity, your grounding, and your strength. This video is not about pushing you or blaming you. It's about helping you understand yourself. Before we begin, I want to share a small part of my story with you. I grew up in a family that pushed me to be independent long before I was ready. I had spiritual gifts from a very young age, and they felt natural and loving and so amazing to me. I remember being in the first grade and listening to Spirit, who was helping me absorb and understand what my teacher was trying to give to me in a lesson. I drew symbols and shapes and patterns that flowed through me easily and effortlessly. What I know now to be sacred symbols and light codes. One day, my teacher saw that I was drawing, and she reacted in fear and confusion, not understanding. She didn't know what she was quite seeing, and suddenly, something innocent and beautiful became something wrong and punishable. We needed to rip it out of her. I was taken immediately to the principal's office, and my family was called. That night, from bed, I overheard a conversation going on in the other room about me, about exorcisms, about danger of what it could or could not leave me with. Things that a child should never have to hear. So I did what many sensitive children do. I set my gifts down. I shut them off. I formed walls and barriers. I stopped drawing. I stopped speaking the strange words that came out of my mouth so naturally, what I do know now as light language. I stopped expressing the parts of myself that felt most true to who I was. In that moment, I fell from my blooming lotus into the mud and the darkness. The confusion and the heaviness began to dwell on me. So many adults eventually find themselves in this state. Even though I had stopped expressing my gifts outwardly, I still spoke to Spirit in my mind when no one else was around. I asked questions and I received answers. I received truthful answers, something I never got from the adults. But as I grew older, the noise of family and the noise of society and the expectations that came from all over pulled me away farther from my true self. collapsing me down deeper into the mud. By the time I reached my teenage years, I had lost touch with all of my guides, with all of my beauty that I had when I was young, that used to feel so close and dear to me. In my mid-20s, something inside me began to stir once again. I found myself a spiritual community that accepted me. I met people who understood the things that I had been hidden, and I began to remember and began to pull apart the layers and the conditioning. I still carried the trauma within me from my younger years, but I had this burning desire, this deep desire inside of me to follow and to listen. I learned to listen to people, to trust my intuition, and to choose what beliefs I wanted to keep and which ones I felt were no longer of service to me, which ones I was ready to release and allow back to the universe to recycle into something new. I raised my children with the freedom that I had never had, encouraging them to speak to spirit and to trust their individual gifts, to explore the energy and their intuition. But even they faced resistance from the world around them, and I watched them begin their own descent down and into the mud. That was my turning point. I did not know what I was going to do, but I knew I had to rise out of the darkness if I wanted them to be able to rise. I had to heal if I wanted my children to heal. I had to become a version of myself that I wished I had to be a mentor to me as I was growing up. So I began my journey back to myself. I studied past life regeneration, self-development, emotional and physical healing, and quite possibly the most important, I learned how to release those old beliefs that no longer served me, that held me down. I climbed out of the darkness and out of my murky waters, and I surfaced only to learn that healing was not just a single moment. It's going to be a lifelong unfolding, an adventure, a journey. I began teaching others about crystals, guided journey meditations, self-improvement, energy work. I discovered that healing flowed through my hands, and I was guided to help people in hospitals, and I witnessed transformations that even the medical staff couldn't understand or explain. I'd hear them whispering, "Whoa, what is she doing?" My gifts, they continued to grow. Light language returned to me once again. My connection to spirit deepened, and I became a bridge between worlds, a seer, an empath, a communicator of thousands of beings and guides across so many multiple dimensions. And I'm so grateful for that too. And now, every session, every call, and every moment inside the Lotus Moon Sanctuary is guided by spirit and tailored to the souls who show up wishing and wanting more out of their lives. I will walk with you, but I cannot walk it for you. You must meet me halfway, and together we will rise your loving heart out of the darkness and into your bloom. I share this because I want you to know that I have been where you are, and there is a path forward out of the darkness. You just have to accept it. Entering the inner world. Because you are here, my beloved soul, you are likely experiencing one or more of the following. You may feel disconnected from yourself. Your emotions may feel heavier or louder than usual. You could feel an overwhelming confusion, or even be scared of what you're feeling inside. You may have started becoming spiritually sensitive. Your senses shift and inside of you, but you can't explain it. You're waking up to something that you can't explain. You yearn for clarity, grounding, and peace. You feel like losing parts of yourself. They're just falling off. You may be unsure of who you truly are anymore. You want to feel like you again. You're open to support, but unsure of where to really begin. Maybe you're tired of doing it alone, and it hasn't worked for you in the past. And you just want a gentle guide to reassure you that you're on your right path. Maybe you've been thinking, why am I like this? What is happening to me? Why can't I get it together? Why does everything seem so intense? Why are my emotions just this unbelievable blubbering? Why do I feel so alone? I'm the only one in the world feeling like this. What's happening to me? You may have limiting beliefs like, I should be able to handle this on my own, by myself. I'm strong. I don't want to be a burden to someone else. I'm scared to invest in myself. What if what I find inside? What if I fell? What if I'm too broken to be helped? Oh, my beautiful, beautiful soul. You're not alone. Nothing is wrong with you. These are beliefs that are common in many, many people, but they're only beliefs. They are not flaws. They are survival patterns. And they are the very thing that helped you back then, but are keeping you stuck in the mud now. This is where your healing is going to begin, in your inner world, if you're awakening what you're feeling is not a breakdown. It's an awakening. Your emotions are louder because your soul is speaking to you. It's trying to get your attention to say, come home. Your identity feels unstable because you're shedding old versions of yourself that no longer serve who you are trying to become inside. Your intuition is starting to wake up. Rests right here. Your inner world is shifting and changing. Your old patterns are beginning to dissolve. This is the beginning of the Lotus journey, of your journey into something better, newer, brighter. What we will cover: why you feel the way you feel, the Lotus path and its phases, the pillars of self-mastery, how guided support accelerates your transformation and your next steps, the Lotus path, the mud, where everything feels unclear, heavy, and chaotic. The mud is the phase where life feels thick, dense, and hard to move through. It's the moment when everything inside of you feels unclear or overwhelming and chaotic at times. You may feel disconnected from yourself, unsure of what you're feeling or able to make sense of, and your emotions, there's not making much sense of those. The mud is not a failure, my dear ones. It is the beginning of your awakening. It is the place where old identities dissolve, where buried emotions rise, and where your soul, inside your soul, it begins calling to you. It begins bringing you back home, bringing you back to who you truly are. This heaviness is a signal that something inside of you is ready to shift and alter. Maybe find the current, flow. The Lotus path, the rising, when clarity begins to return. The rising is a softening after the storm of the mud. It's the moment when your inner world begins to settle, even just so slightly. You start to feel glimpses of clarity and moments of peace, or a quiet sensation of something that you are remembering, shifting towards, searching for in the darkness. Maybe you notice your intuition whispering again, or that you're able to breathe just a little bit deeper. The rising is where you begin to understand your emotions instead of being consumed by them. It's where you start to fill yourself once again. Not fully at first, but enough to know that you're moving upward, out of the mud, up through the darkness of the water, where you're reaching for your bloom. The lotus path, the bloom, blooming into who you are meant to be. The bloom is the emergence, the moment that you rise to the surface of the waters, the step into the version of yourself where you've always wanted to become, the person that you are truly inside. It's where the grounding and clarity and intuition and your identity align. It's where you feel most connected and more centered. You feel more whole. You begin living your truth from you and instead of your wounds. The bloom is not perfection. It's an embodiment. It is the lived expansion of your healing, your awakening, and your self-mastery. The lotus path. Where are you in the cycle? You are somewhere in this cycle, the mud, the rising, or the little blossom bloom. And that is where you are, and that is perfectly acceptable. Each phase is a sacred gift. Each phase is necessary, and each phase is part of your return to yourself. It is possible to rise and drop and rise higher. And if you fall, not quite so much once again. Completely normal. These are the phases of your own worthiness, of your new beginning. Eventually, out of the bud and into a full bloom. The pillars of self-mastery. Emotional regulation. Emotional regulation is the foundation of self-mastery because it brings stability to your inner world. When emotions feel overwhelming and chaotic or unpredictable, it becomes difficult to hear your intuition, to make aligned decisions, or feel connected to yourself. Emotional regulation teaches you how to soothe your nervous system, understand what you're feeling, and respond instead of react. It creates this internal safety required for healing and transformation. Without this pillar of support, every other part of this journey becomes harder. But with it, clarity, calmness, guidance begin to return to you. The pillars of self-mastery. Intuitive development. Intuitive development reconnects you with your inner wisdom that has always been yours. When life becomes overwhelming and intuitions often get buried beneath the fear and conditioning and the noise of everything around you. This pillar helps you rebuild trust within your inner voice. Recognize your truth and follow the guidance that rises within inside you. Your intuition becomes your compass, showing you what to release and what to embrace, and what direction your soul is calling you towards. When your intuition awakens, you stop living from survival and you begin living from alignment and centeredness and support. The pillars of self-mastery, identity shifting. Identity shifting is the process of releasing old versions of yourself that no longer fit who you are becoming. Most people, they try to create a new life while living inside of the outdated identity, and that's why they're stuck. This pillar helps you to recognize the beliefs, the roles, the patterns, and the stories that have stopped you from genuinely letting them go. What it is that's bringing you to hold on to them and allowing those to be released. It opens a door for your new identity to emerge, one that's rooted from truth, clarity, and self-mastery. Identity shifting is where deep transformation happens. It's because it changes who you are, and down at the core, at the root, your true self. The pillar of self-mastery, spiritual grounding. Spiritual grounding brings stability to your awakening. When your inner world is shifting and expanding and awakening, it's easy to feel unanchored or overwhelmed. Grounding helps you. It keeps you safe in your body, connected to the earth, and supported by something larger than yourself. It symbolizes your energy, your strengths, and your intuitions. It gives you a foundation needed to navigate change with clarity instead of fear. Without grounding, awakening feels chaotic, but with grounding, it becomes a guided evolution. The pillars of self-mastery, embodiment. Embodiment is where transformation becomes real. It's the moment that you stop understanding the work and you start living it. You start embodying the essence of who you truly are. Embodiment means choosing your new identity, practicing the new patterns that allow you to grow and expand, And it means showing up as the version of yourself who you're rising into, truthfully and fully. It's the integration of emotional regulation, intuition, identity, and grounding into your daily life. This pillar turns insight into action, healing into behavior, and awakening into lived truth. Embodiment is the bloom, the expression of your highest self in the physical world. The pillars of self-mastery, how they all come together. These pillars are not separate. They are a living ecosystem. They are connected as one. Emotional regulation creates safety. Safety allows intuition to speak clearly. Intuition guides identity shifts to their highest potential. Identity shifts require grounding. Grounding supports embodiment. Embodiment reinforces emotional regulation. Together, they form a cycle that repeats, deepens, and expands as you rise out of the murky waters and into your true self. The pillars of self-mastery, how they create transformation. When these pillars work together, they guide you from the mud through the rising and into your bloom. They stabilize your emotions, reconnect you with your truth. They dissolve outdated identities and anchor your awakening. They help you to live as your highest self. This is the architecture of the Lotus path of self-mastery, a complete, gentle, powerful system for returning to who you are and who you were always meant to be. That piece of you inside that is so warm and tingly is allowed to be set free. Why doing it alone doesn't work. Doing this work alone feels impossible because awakening stirs emotions, memories, and identity shifts that are too heavy to hold on to without the support. When you're overwhelmed, your nervous system goes into survival mode, making it hard to think clearly, to trust your intuition, and to take aligned action. You can try to journal, meditate, read books, watch videos, figure it out, push through, numb out, avoid, or even self-diagnose. But without guidance, most people stay stuck in the mud much, much longer than they need to. You end up looping the same patterns over and over and over again. When you're trying to figure it out, the same mindset that created the struggle in the first place is the one trying to figure out the struggle. It's not going to work. Books, videos, journaling, and willpower can only take you so far because they don't offer the grounding that is necessary, the reflection and the guidance when things get really intense. They don't offer you the support of the pillars to help you move forward. Without someone to help you regulate, reinterpret what's happening, and anchor you through your shifts, the mud feels and seems like an endless journey. Support collapses time. It creates safety. It gives you the structure needed to rise. It's not about weakness. It's about having someone who can hold the lantern while you walk your path, showing you the easy route, guiding you, allowing you to be who you are. Your process. Grounding and emotional stabilization are the first steps because nothing can shift until your inner world feels safe enough to soften and allow other things to penetrate in and feel that embrace. When emotions are overwhelming or your nervous system is in survival mode, your mind can't process clearly. Your intuition goes quiet, and your everyday feels heavier than it truly is. Grounding brings you back into your body. It slows the internal chaos and creates stability needed for healing to be able to begin. Emotional stabilization is the foundation that allows every other part of the journey to unfold before you. It's reconnecting with intuition comes next, because once your inner world is calmer and you can finally hear yourself again, intuition is that quiet voice beneath all of the noise, that part of you that knows what you need, what you're ready to release, and where your soul is trying to guide you to. When you reconnect with this inner wisdom, you stop navigating from fear or confusion, and you begin navigating from truth. Intuition becomes your compass, helping you rise with clarity instead of guessing without knowing your way back through the dark. Identity evaluation flows naturally because once you feel grounded, you can hear your intuition again. You begin to see the parts of yourself that no longer fit. The old roles, the old beliefs the old patterns start to loosen. You can recognize what is inherited and brought to you from the outside world, what has conditioned and created from survival, rather than your authenticity, your inner strength, your truth. Identity evaluation is the shredding of the moment you stop living as a version of yourself shaped by fear, and you begin stepping into the version shaped by truth, your truth. This is where deep transformation truly happens at the core of who you are, your essence, your being. Embodiment and self-mastery is the final step because it turns all of that inner work into a lived reality. Embodiment is where you practice being that version of yourself that you're rising into, not just understanding the change, but truly living it. It's where emotional regulation becomes second nature. Intuition becomes a trusted guide, and your new identity becomes your default way of being. Self-mastery is not perfection. It's consistency. It's the moment your inner transformation becomes your outer life. This is the Lotus path, a gentle, powerful sequence. It guides you from the mud, through the rising, and into the bud and bloom. It's the process you walk through step by step until you become who you were always meant to be. The threshold of awakening. You are standing on a threshold of a sacred transformation. I would like to take a moment to share with you what a journey together would feel like. This journey is a gateway, a bridge between your world that you know and the divine truth that you are becoming. As a guide, I am here to be able to help you peel back the layers of blockages and forgotten truths by channeling spirit-driven knowledge to lead you to a life of effortless light and personal power. Together, we will transcend the chaos of the physical realm and anchor your soul into the fifth dimension frequency of pure enlightenment. The guided journey, the transcending veil, the breath of presence. Let's begin by placing your feet flat on the floor, setting up tall and aligning your spirit like a pillar of light. Close your eyes and take some deep, intentional breaths, slowly in through your nose and Release it through your mouth. Nice and calm, slow, deep breaths. In through your nose, out through your mouth. Good. Keep breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth. With every inhale, draw in the silver light of the moon. And with every exhale, release all the challenges of the day. Continue your breathing rhythmically, slowly, continuing this rhythm throughout our journey. In through your nose, out through your mouth. Feel your body becoming heavy and grounded, perfectly centered. As you breathe, the walls of the room around you begin to dissolve. You are no longer sitting in a chair. You are standing in a lush, ethereal meadow at the edge of the Lotus Moon Sanctuary. Feel the cool velvet grass beneath your bare feet. Feel its softness. Smell the sweet, intoxicating scent of blooming jasmine and ancient cedar hanging in the air. Hear the distant melody chime of crystal singing bowls vibrating the earth. See the sky above you, a shimmering tapestry of velvet and gold, pulsing with the light of 1,000 stars. You are not just observing this realm, dear one. You are physically embodying it. You are safe. You are home. Feel the divine love surrounding you, embracing you with its warmth, like angel wings engulfing your presence of love. Imagine a pool of glowing, incandescent water before you. This is the well of remembrance. As you step towards it, feel the old patterns, the heavy beliefs that wear on you, that were never yours to begin with, and the versions of yourself that you have outgrown. See that all just slide off your skin like tattered robes falling to the ground, being absorbed by Mother Nature and taken away from you completely. Watch as those shadows vanish into the light of love. Still breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth. You are becoming lighter and more radiant with every breath you take. Look into the water. Instead of your past, you see your highest identity, the version of you that lives in constant peace and love and harmony with yourself and others. This is not a fantasy. It is your lived reality waiting for you to claim it, to call it your own. Feel your intuition ignite in your chest. A warm, steady glow that recognizes the truth. Your truth. You're moving from chaos of the third dimension into the clarity of the fifth. Embrace this feeling of absolute self-worth. You are a beautiful spiritual being, fully awake and deeply connected. Keep this warmth with you. Know that the path to this realm is always open, and your guide, I will always lead you back here to your truth, gently, physically embodying your true essence. Now, gently begin to feel the weight of your body once again. Wiggle your fingers and your toes. Gently rotate your head and neck, moving your shoulders, slowly coming back. And when you are ready, open your eyes, carrying the peace of the Lotus Moon Sanctuary into your world. Why journey with Athena? By choosing me as your guide, you are not just meditating. You are engaging in a deep soul revival process. I provide a sacred space and channeled energy necessary to navigate the complexities of the spiritual awakening, ensuring that your transition into a higher consciousness is both effortless and profound. Together, we will turn your inner intuition from that little whisper into a bright, guiding light, helping you embody your highest self with every movement of your lived reality. Your next step is simple, and it's already in motion. You've received your free guide. You have booked your call. These were the first yeses to yourself. Next, 30 minutes before your call time, grab a cup of tea, find a quiet space, and get comfortable. Make sure to bring your reflections, your questions, and any thoughts that this video has shared with you to our call so that we can reflect upon them. And I will be sure to address all of your questions or concerns. So have your notebook open and ready. Take a few deep breaths. And log on to the link 5 to 10 minutes early. By being present and fully ready for our conversation, allowing yourself to be able to feel supported in ways that you may not have ever felt before. You are not alone, dear one. You are not going crazy, and you are not broken. You're awakening. And I am looking forward to meeting you inside of the Lotus Moon Sanctuary, where your loving soul is always welcome, supported, safe, and cared for. May love, light follow you always, and I look forward to seeing you on our call.